What's going on? You're watching NFL Daily, and I'm your host, Mitchell Renz. Interact with me on Instagram and Twitter at MitchellRenz365. I got an awesome segment ahead. Where is Le'Veon Bell, Nick Foles, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Earl Thomas going to play in 2019? Well, sit tight as I got you covered. All right, the first player I'm going into is Le'Veon Bell. And where is Le'Veon Bell going to play? Well, we know that Bell didn't report in time to play with the Steelers this past year, and he ended up sitting out the entire 2018 season. And when you look at Le'Veon Bell, I think he's one of the best free agents on the board right now, and you could argue that he's the best offensive free agent despite not playing in 2018. And why do I say that? When you look at his production over the last 4 years, it's insane, really. I mean, he had 406 touches last year, 336 in 2016. 2015, sure, he got banged up a little bit, but when you look at a 4-year sample size and you see that type of production, there is a really good reason why Le'Veon Bell is, to some, the best running back in the NFL. Now, here are his entire stats throughout his career from a rushing standpoint. 1,229 carries, over 5,000 yards, 4.3 yards per carry, and 35 touchdowns. But we don't have the receiving stats on board, but he's also, I think you could argue, the best receiving running back in the NFL, and the dude wants to be paid like one. And when you look at some of these highest paid running backs in the NFL per year, Todd Gurley making 14.4, David Johnson 13.3. Le'Veon Bell wants to be in the David Johnson, Todd Gurley area. That's where he's looking to get paid. Heck, it's been rumored that he wants $16 to $17 million. Now, Devonta Freeman, LaShawn McCoy, Barkley, all great running backs, but Le'Veon would laugh if some team offered him that much money. And then when you look at guaranteed dollars, dude wants some guaranteed dough. And Todd Gurley getting that 45, David Johnson 31. That's great and all, but Le'Veon wants at around that Todd Gurley type guaranteed dough, and I don't blame him. Now, I think he maybe hurt his value a little bit by sitting out. Personally, when you look at seeing what James Conner did, Pro Bowl running back, 12 rushing touchdowns, and had an incredible year. Now, I think what the Steelers offense did for Le'Veon Bell, I don't think we talk about nearly enough because it's one of the best offenses in the NFL. So before I give you my top 5 teams for Le'Veon Bell, I want to know from you, where will Le'Veon Bell play in 2019? Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram at MitchellRenz365. If I like the top 5, maybe I'll throw you a retweet. We do a lot of awesome stuff here at Chat Sports, and you guys need to subscribe to youtube.com/chatsportstv. We're also going to be live for the Super Bowl. It's going to be lit AF, I promise you. Right now we're at 82,000 subscribers, or 82,804 to be exact. We're trying to get to 100K. Help us get there. youtube.com/chatsportstv to subscribe. All right, let's get into my top 5 teams for Le'Veon Bell. Number 5 here is the Houston Texans. And I look at the Houston Texans makeup, and I see Deshaun Watson, I see DeAndre Hopkins, and I see a pretty talented offense. And personally, I think Lamar Miller is going to get cut. I've seen what he's done the last 5 years. I think it's time for him to go. Now, maybe the Texans should invest in that offensive line. However, I see Le'Veon Bell, Deshaun Watson, and DeAndre Hopkins as being maybe the best wide receiver, quarterback, running back duo in the entire NFL. And when it comes to signing Le'Veon, you guys are going to see cap space in here because guess what? Dude wants to get paid, and he needs to be paid. Here's the Texans depth chart this past year. Lamar Miller, D'Onta Foreman, who was dealing with a little bit of an Achilles injury, and Alfred Blue is about as vanilla as it comes. Like I said, Lamar Miller likely to get cut in my opinion. Insert Le'Veon Bell as the number 1 running back on the Texans. I think it's at least interesting. Next team on my list here is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and what an interesting season they had, right? Jameis Winston, still no surprise. Ryan Fitzpatrick, that was a roller coaster ride. And Ronald Jones, my goodness. Oh, my Lord. Ronald Jones was just bad. He just was bad. And I felt bad for him because I met Rojo down here in Dallas, and he's a nice kid, good dude. But he just didn't play well. And then Peyton Barber's he's okay to me. Jacquizz Rodgers is not an every down running back. And maybe you get Le'Veon Bell on this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, and maybe he can take some pressure off Jameis Winston, who just, let's be real, turns the ball over way too much. Now, here's the Buccaneers depth chart. It's Peyton Barber, Jacquizz Rodgers, and Rojo. Again, there's no running back on that list that would even warrant Le'Veon Bell to even kind of be worried. So you put Le'Veon Bell in this Buccaneers backfield, dude's getting another 400 touches. Bet my Bet $1 on it. Heck, bet $2. I don't know. All right, this is a question I got going on for you guys. Is Le'Veon Bell a top 5 running back? I understand he didn't play in 2018, but I showed you what he did his last 4 years, and when you have a season, when you have over 406 touches, it's at least in the conversation. So is Le'Veon Bell a top 5 running back? If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on Facebook, comment below. Type Y for yes, type N for no. If you want to know what I think, hit me up at Mitchell Renz 365. I'm going to give a shout out to today's sponsor, BetDSI. Go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code LIVE120 for 120% deposit bonus. Sign up and deposit with MasterCard or Bitcoin, and then DM Chat Sports on Twitter at Chat Sports, and we're going to hook you up with a free NFL jersey of your choice. And also, I got a little cherry on top. It's Bitcoin. If you don't know what Bitcoin is, hit me up. I'll help you out at Mitchell Renz 365. We'll go through the process. But if you use Bitcoin, we're going to give you another 150% deposit bonus. So you're going to get free money to bet with and a free NFL jersey of your choice. Yeah, you're welcome. Try to find a better offer. Next team up here for Le'Veon Bell is the Oakland Raiders. And when I look at the Raiders, Marshawn Lynch, Jalen Richard, Doug Martin are all free agents. And can they actually trust Chris Warren? Chris Warren looked great in the preseason. He had 292 rushing yards, but can they trust him? Then you look at cap space. They're top 5 in the NFL in cap space. My only thing is, I think if you're looking at what a team is actually going to do with Le'Veon Bell, if you're not in win now mode, I do not see why you would go out and get Le'Veon Bell, who's going to request $16 to $17 million each year. As much as I love the Raiders, let's be real, they're not in win now mode. And when you look at the running back depth chart, Marshawn, Doug, Jalen, all free agents. In a perfect world, I think if they play in Oakland, Marshawn Lynch comes back, they let Doug Martin walk, they bring back Jalen Richard, and actually, I have Kareem Hunt as my number 1 team, or the Raiders as my number 1 team for Kareem Hunt. Number 2 team here on my board for Le'Veon Bell, it's the Indianapolis Colts, and I think the Colts need to help Andrew Luck. Here's the only thing, though. Marlon Mack really emerged last year, and I like Nyheim Hines also a lot. But when it comes down to it, the Colts have money, and they got money to blow. And at the end of the day, they could offer Le'Veon Bell a nice fat paycheck that he just can't turn down. You guys remember that movie, Blank Check? If the Colts are just like, hey, Le'Veon, write whatever number you want on that. From what I've seen from Le'Veon Bell, money is what matters the most to him, and the Colts have more than anyone, and I think that's why they're number 2 on this list. But to be honest, I would much rather the Colts maybe not take Le'Veon Bell and stick with the running backs that they have, because to be honest, they actually have some pretty good ones. Marlon Mack, since he came out of South Florida, has been one of my more favorite running backs when he's able to stay healthy. Nyheim Hines is a great pass catcher and ran the best 40 time in last year's combine. And Jordan Wilkins is sure, he's okay, but for a third running back, let's be real, the Colts have done a lot better, and go figure. Once you invest in that offensive line, yeah, stuff's going to look a whole lot better. I have something that you need to invest in. It's Mizzen and Main. Go to www.comfortable.af. They hook us up here at Chat Sports with these unbelievable dress shirts. I'm telling you guys, the website checks out because these are the best damn dress shirts you'll ever buy. They are indeed comfortable as F. My top team for Le'Veon Bell, the New York Jets. And at the end of the day, the Jets need to surround Sam Darnold with more talent. And I think the Jets are right now this perfect blend of money and overall need. And when you look at their cap space, they're second behind the Colts. And if there's one thing that I've seen the Jets do, it's spend that money. And if Le'Veon really wants to, let's say, get popular and make a lot of money, the dude could be the face of New York. He could be the face of the New York Jets. And guess what? That's going to turn into a lot of dollars. And when I look at the Jets running back depth chart, it's not all that special. I mean, it's Isaiah Crowell, Elijah McGuire. Come on. Are we actually serious here? And then when you look at the Jets' leading rushers the last 5 seasons, Isaiah Crowell at 685, Bilal Powell 772, Matt Forte, shout out to you, but Chris Ivory, it's been since 2015 since the Jets have had a running back with over 1,000 yards. That's crazy. And sure, you could blame a lot of that on the offense or the Jets in general, but Le'Veon Bell would be the instant key piece to that offense. And when I look at their offensive ranks from last year, the Jets, 16th in carries, rushing yards per game, 26th, rushing touchdowns, 23rd, fumbles, 29th. You need to be able to find a reliable running back out of the backfield and also help out Sam Darnold. Just take a little bit pressure off him because the Jets are turning the ball over way too much way too much. But you insert Le'Veon Bell, and I guarantee you those ranks, they're going to go up a lot in 2019. Here are my top 5 destinations for Le'Veon Bell in 2019. It's the Houston Texans there at 5. I think they say so long to Lamar Miller. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Ronald Jones, Peyton Barber. I don't think they're the answer. The Oakland Raiders, I don't think that they're in win-now mode. At least, I'll be honest, they're not in win-now mode. And even if they want to go out and get another running back, I think they should get Kareem Hunt over Le'Veon Bell. The Colts got a whole bunch of money, and I think Le'Veon Bell teaming up with Andrew Luck is a nice idea, but I think they should stick with their 3 running backs. The New York Jets, to me, I think Le'Veon Bell is going to the New York Jets. So, if he does go to the New York Jets, there's going to be a little bit of a debate, I think. Who's the better running back, Saquon Barkley or Le'Veon Bell? Who's going to be the best running back in New York if Le'Veon goes there? I want you to type L for Le'Veon or S for Saquon. If you know what I think, DM me at Mitchell Renz 365. All right, let's head in now to Nick Foles, and where's this dude going to play in 2019? Now, there is a mutual option for Foles in 2019, and it's about $20 million. And this, which would be fully guaranteed on the 5th day of the league year. If they choose to exercise that option, Foles has about a week to decide whether he wants to take that payday and remain with the Eagles next season or void the contract. If Foles opts to void the contract, he would have to give the Eagles $2 million, buying his way into free agency. And guess what? I fully expect Nick Foles to buy his way into free agency. Why? Because if he enters free agency, he is the best quarterback into free agency. I don't want to hear this Joe Flacco bullcrap. It's Nick Foles. He's the best quarterback that's going to hit free agency. And sure, when you look at what he did this past year, it's okay. 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. But when you look at Nick Foles, it's what he's been able to do in the playoffs. Super Bowl MVP, carrying an Eagles team that realistically had no business competing in the playoffs, I think, when they lost Carson Wentz, and Nick Foles was still able to carry that team. And when I look to see what Nick Foles has made over his last few years, like, Nick, good for you, man. I'm hoping I get a raise like this. In 2012, his rookie year, $933K, but then in 2015 is when he made that jump, because in 2014, I don't know if you remember, dude absolutely balled out, 27 touchdowns, 2 picks. Then he goes over to the Rams and meets this guy named Jeff Fisher, and Jeff Fisher just absolutely ruined this guy's career, and he had 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions with Jeff Fisher. It was just bad, and that's why he went from the Rams to the Chiefs then in 2016. You're going to look here as it breaks down from the Rams to the Chiefs. Then he went back to Philly. He went back to Philly in 2017, and then 2018 they paid him after winning the Super Bowl MVP. So, hey, I get it, and I want Nick Foles to get paid, and he's gonna, especially because he's going to be the top quarterback in free agency. Luckily, though, our sponsor, Bet the Aside, they hooked us up on Nick Foles' odds and where he's going to play in 2019. It's the Miami Dolphins there at top at plus 200, the Redskins, the Jags, the Broncos, Eagles at plus 600. I don't think he's going to be an Eagle. And in fact, you're going to see 4 of those top teams on my top 5 board. So shout out to Bet the Aside for hooking us up here at Chat Sports. So those are Bet the Aside's odds, but this show isn't about us. It's about you. Where will Nick Foles play in 2019? I want you to comment below. Is he going to be an Eagle again? Do you think he's going to be better than Carson Wentz? Is he going to the Redskins? Is he going to the Broncos? Is he going to the Jags? I want to know from you, and if you want to know what I think, just watch till the end of the video. All right, we got to get Chat Sports to 10,000 or 10,000 words, numbers, 100,000 subscribers. Right now we're at 82,804. So go ahead and subscribe. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. We'll also be live for the Super Bowl. So come along, have fun for the ride. All right, let's get into my top 5 teams now for Nick Foles. Coming in here at number 5. I personally think Nick would be a little high to go here. Mile high? No? Somebody? All right, the Denver Broncos at number 5. And current Broncos offensive coordinator Bill Musgrave worked with Foles in 2014 as the Eagles quarterbacks coach. And if he stays on the staff, I think Foles and him could have at least an interesting duo. Here's the thing, though. I just don't see Nick Foles going to the Denver Broncos because I think the Denver Broncos are eyeing up either a younger quarterback in the draft, Drew Lock, but I can almost guarantee you one thing. They watched this dude, Case Keenum, play the entire 2018 season, and go figure, he wasn't the answer. Yeah, exactly. 62.3% completion percentage, 3,890 yards, 18 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. I'm sorry, Case Keenum. You're not the answer, and you're never going to be the answer for an NFL franchise. And if somebody disagrees with me, hit me up on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365 because I just personally do not see it happening. You guys need to go to chatsports.com/bet and get yourself a free NFL jersey. I don't recommend getting a Case Keenum one. Sign up and deposit. with MasterCard or Bitcoin, and then DM us on Twitter at Chat Sports. But remember to use that promo code LIVE120 for 120% deposit bonus. But wait, there's more. You want that 150% deposit bonus? We got you. Use Bitcoin, and if you don't know what Bitcoin is, Mom, Dad, I get it. Slide into my DMs at Mitchell Renz 365, and I will literally help you go through the process of signing up with Bitcoin. I'm telling you, it's so easy. Shout out to BetDSI for getting up Chat Sports with the best promo on the internet. All right, number 4 team here for Nick Foles, the New York Giants. And this is an interesting one. Now, I think they could move on from Eli Manning, and when I watched Eli play, dude kind of had a little bit of a noodle arm. But if I'm looking at Nick Foles, I'm also looking at that Giants offense, and I'm saying, okay, Odell Beckham Jr., great receiver, arguably top 5. Saquon Barkley, arguably a top 3 running back right now in the NFL. And then you're looking at Evan Ingram, Sterling Shepard. There's a lot of really talented pieces to that Giants offense. And when I look at Eli Manning's stats this past year, dude just wasn't getting it done. 21 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 4,299 yards, 66% completion percentage. And yeah, 666. You know what that means. Maybe they need to move on from Eli Manning and go get some Nick Foles in their life. If the Giants get Nick Foles in that blue jersey, how many games is big you know what Nick winning with the Giants in 2019? I want you to comment below. Is it going to be 8, 9, 10? Is it going to be worse than that? If you want to know what I think, hit me up on IG or Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. My number 3 team is okay for Nick Foles, and it's the Miami Dolphins. And personally, I think Ryan Tannehill is not the answer, and I think he's going to go to the Bengals to pair up there with his old coach. And here's the thing. There's rumors around the Dolphins tanking for Tua, which I find interesting in 2020, and I guess it doesn't really surprise me. If they don't like any of the quarterbacks in this draft class, maybe they wait for Tua, or maybe they should wait for Trevor Lawrence. Just go figure there. But if that's what they're actually doing, it doesn't really surprise me all too much. And when I see what they had to deal with Ryan Tannehill this past year, it's not pretty. I mean, 1,979 yards. Sure, the guy was hurt, but 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. I've watched Ryan Tannehill's entire career, and he's not an NFL quarterback. Ryan, I think maybe you should have stuck with tight end. Personally, I'm just saying, 123 touchdowns, 75 interceptions, 20,434 yards. And it's kind of funny talking about the Dolphins and them tanking for Tua, because I think our sponsor, BetDSI, also thinks that they're going to tank this season too, because they have the worst Super Bowl 54 odds out of any team. You got the Cardinals, the Lions there, and the Raiders all sitting at 11,000. Then the Redskins at 1650, and then the Miami Dolphins have 30,000 plus 30,000 odds to win the Super Bowl win Super Bowl 54. Yeah, not very good. All right, my next team coming up here for Nick Foles in 2019, it's the Washington Redskins, and I think this move makes a lot of sense. He could stay in the NFC East, a division that he's obviously familiar with, and Alex Smith's career, I personally think, is likely over, and there's already been plenty of rumors and news that the Redskins are not planning to have Alex Smith back for this upcoming season. And I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Alex Smith's leg literally turn into a slinky, because if you saw it, it's probably because of us here at Chat Sports. We made it go viral on Facebook, so I'm just saying that. But here's the thing. Nick Foles in the NFC East, if I'm Nick Foles, I would love to be able to stick it to the Eagles, a team that he probably thinks that he is the quarterback that should be the quarterback of the Eagles, everything he's done. So I'm just saying, I think it'd be interesting for him to go there. But one of the rumors out there is that the Redskins are potentially looking at another quarterback, and it's Joe Flacco. And I want to know from everybody watching, who's the better quarterback, Nick Foles or Joe Flacco? I want you to type N for Nick Foles or type J for Joe Flacco. If you want to know what I think, hit me up on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. But if you're typing J for Joe Flacco, personally, I think you're drunk. If you are drunk, there's one place to get your beer. It's Tavour. Go to Tavour.com and sign up for free. When you use promo code ChatSports, you're going to get $10 off your very first purchase. And if you don't know what Tavour is, it's a place where they have unbelievably rare craft beers. You're going to create your own box, and they're going to bring it right to your door. And then you can just look at all these amazing craft beers. So again, sign up for free at Tavour.com and then use promo code ChatSports for $10 off your very first purchase. My top team that I'm absolutely drunk in love with, and I've actually already put money down at BetDSI for Nick Foles, is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think the Jags personally think that they are one quarterback or they are a quarterback away from being a dominant team, and they've watched Blake Bortles. Not the answer. But why do I think that Foles is going to go there? It's because of John DeFilippo. He's the new offensive coordinator for the Jags, and he was with Nick Foles in 2017. And when we saw Nick Foles really flourish, especially in the playoffs, here's the issue with the Jags. Their cap space. But they're going to start getting rid of some players. They're going to start freeing up some room. When they get rid of Blake Bortles, that's going to also free up a little bit of room. But, I mean, let's be real. They had to watch Bortles attempt to play quarterback for the past few seasons. He had 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions last year, and it was hard to watch. And then his entire career, under 50, he had 59% completion percentage, touchdowns, 103, 75 interceptions. Like, it's just not pretty when it comes to Blake Bortles, and I get it. But personally, I think Nick Foles going to the Jags makes the most sense. So if you're just joining us, here are my top 5 teams for Nick Foles in 2019. It's the Denver Broncos, the New York Giants, the Dolphins, the Redskins, the Jags. If you want to be like me, go to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code LIVE120 and put money on the Jags, because I already did. I put $25 at Nick Foles going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So where do you think Nick Foles is going to play? Tweet at me, at Mitchell Renz 365. If you don't like my top 5, come up with a better one. I want to see it, and if I like your top 5 for Nick Foles, maybe I'll throw you a retweet. I'll definitely throw you a like. Again, at Mitchell Renz 365. Tweet at me. We got to get Chat Sports to 100,000 subscribers. We are, I think, the best channel on YouTube, if you ask me, and we ask our people here all the time. Subscribe now. We're at 82,804. Subscribe. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. We'll be live for the Super Bowl, and from one of our loyal subscribers said it's like hanging out with a bunch of people at the bar watching the Super Bowl. I got you. Now, let's get into my next segment here. DeMarcus Lawrence. Where's he going to play in 2019? And I will say this. I think DeMarcus Lawrence is the top free agent in 2019. And I personally would be surprised if the Cowboys let him hit the open market. However, I've seen crazier things in my time here at Chat Sports. And I think the Cowboys want to franchise tag him. And I think personally they'd be foolish not to. And when you go back and just look at today's NFL, it's a quarterback-driven league. So if you can find a guy who's going to be able to get after the quarterback like DeMarcus Lawrence has, that's important. When you look at who has the most sacks since 2017, there's DeMarcus. He's got 25. He's right up there. Sure, Chandler Jones leads the pack at 30. DeMarcus Lawrence is up there, the top 3 for most sacks since 2017. Then most pressures by an edge rusher. DeMarcus, 142. Yes, Khalil Mack, 147 with Von Miller. But I'm telling you right now, DeMarcus Lawrence is just getting into his own, and it's going to be fun to watch. DeMarcus Lawrence is my top free agent, but this show isn't about me. It's about you. Who's the top free agent in 2019? Do you think it's somebody else? You think it could be Dee Ford? Is it Frank Clark? Is it Trey Flowers? Le'Veon Bell? I want to know from you, who's the top free agent in 2019? Comment below if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook. All right, let's get into it now. My number 5 team here for DeMarcus Lawrence. I got the New York Jets, and why do I think the Jets? They got money. Bottom line, if you want to take down Tom Brady, DeMarcus Lawrence, I think, is a very good way to do it. They just need to add talent. They need to add plenty of talent on offense, on defense, and at the end of the day, if DeMarcus Lawrence somehow hits free agency, the Jets have a lot of money. Maybe they could go out and sign him. Now, personally, I think DeMarcus would kind of be like, I don't really know if I want to go play for the Jets. Because when you look at this defensive line and their depth chart, it's okay. Like, it's nothing all that special. I like Leonard Williams, but on the edges, Jenkins and Copeland, I expect Copeland to hit free agency, or he's going to be a free agent. I just don't really personally think that DeMarcus Lawrence wants to be a New York Jet. Shout out to BetDSI for hooking up Chat Sports with the best promo code on the internet. Use LIVE120 for 120% deposit bonus. Sign up and deposit with MasterCard or Bitcoin. And then DM Chat Sports on Twitter at Chat Sports. We're going to give it a free NFL jersey and free money. But wait, there's more. If you use Bitcoin, 150% deposit bonus. If you don't know how to use Bitcoin, get with it. Or just DM me at Mitchell Renz 365. I'll help you go through the process. All right, my next team up here for DeMarcus Lawrence, it's the Indianapolis Colts, and again, the reason why the Colts are on my list is because they have more money than everybody else, and they could offer DeMarcus Lawrence a check that nobody else can do it, and if he wants to get paid like he deserves to get paid, because the Cowboys for some reason let him go, the Colts could be like, all right, we only had 38 sacks last year, and if we really want to get over that hump, we really want to beat players like Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, DeMarcus Lawrence might not be a bad way to do it. My number 3 team here for Lawrence, the Cleveland Browns. And the Browns still are a few pieces away, I think, from being a playoff caliber team. But as they head into 2019 offseason with a boatload of cap money, it would be surprising if John Dorsey decided to blow the entire checkbook. However, if DeMarcus Lawrence hits free agency, you're going to see a whole bunch of teams empty out that checkbook, which they 100% sure they should. And we've had, Tom Downey at What Going Downey has predicted the Browns to win the AFC North with DeMarcus Lawrence. Yeah, I might actually get on board for that because this is an up-and-coming team who is in win-now mode with Rookie of the Year, Baker Mayfield. My next team here for DeMarcus Lawrence is the Oakland Raiders. And why do the Raiders need DeMarcus Lawrence? Well, when you have only 13 sacks in an entire NFL season, that's why. And they need to be able to get after the quarterback, and there's no better player to do it right now than DeMarcus Lawrence. And what's an easy way to make all Raider fans shut up about Khalil Mack? It's adding DeMarcus Lawrence. And here's the defensive line that was only able to get 13 sacks. Frosty Rucker, Mo Hurst, Jonathan Hankins, and Arden Key. Insert DeMarcus Lawrence. He can help teach younger players like an Arden Key how to get after the quarterback. I'm just saying, the Raiders at number 2 is interesting, especially when you consider the amount of cap space that they have. Top 5 in the NFL. Their biggest need, though, is by far defensive end. So I got a fun little question here for everyone watching. And if you don't know how many sacks the Raiders had last year, again, only 13. More sacks in 2019, the Raiders or DeMarcus Lawrence? I want you to type R for Raiders or type D for DeMarcus. So if you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, I don't care. R for Raiders, D for DeMarcus. My number 1 team for Lawrence, it's the Dallas Cowboys. And he's going to be the Cowboys' top priority, and if he's not, then reality check for them. And recently, DeMarcus tweeted at the Cowboys and said, "Your move." Now, the Cowboys have 3 choices. They can either sign him to a long-term deal, apply the franchise tag again at a 20% increase, so $20.56 million, or let Lawrence hit the open market. I would be absolutely astonished if the Cowboys let him hit the open market because of all the teams that are going to be like, really? You did that? That's kind of dumb. So for me, the Dallas Cowboys, DeMarcus Lawrence is still going to have that star on his helmet. If you're just joining, here are my top 5 teams for DeMarcus Lawrence in 2019. The New York Jets, the Colts, they got a lot of money. Maybe they'll throw him a fat check. The Browns, the Raiders coming in there at 3-2. But I think it's the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think they're going to let him walk, and I think they'd be foolish to let him walk. So in my opinion, DeMarcus Lawrence is going to be a Dallas Cowboy, but this show isn't about me. I want to know from you, where is he going to play in 2019? I want you to comment below if you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, literally anywhere that you're watching this video. Where's DeMarcus Lawrence going to play in 2019? I think the Cowboys would have to be drunk to let him go. And if you guys think that I'm drunk, it's because once in a while I enjoy a nice craft beer from Devore here on the set. Go to Devore.com, sign up for free, use promo code CHATSPORTS. And again, it's Devore.com. Sign up for free. You're going to be able to find rare craft beers, curate your own box, and they ship it right to your door. Cheers to Devore for hooking up Chat Sports with, I think, the best beer promo on the internet. Next guy that I'm going to be talking about is Earl Thomas, and where's this dude going to play next season? Now, his 2018 season was cut short by a fractured leg, which is, I think kind of frustrating to see because he wanted to get paid. And Thomas has been extremely vocal about being paid because he was worried about getting injured and having basically what happened to him. I mean, he literally flicked off the Seahawks. I don't know if you remember that when he went down with the injury. And sure, the Seahawks could tag him, but let's be real. This is a divorce, and it's just been a divorce waiting to happen. Sure, Earl Thomas only played 4 games last year, but he was still really productive in those 4 games. 5 pass breakups, 22 tackles, 3 interceptions. And then when you look at what he's done his entire career, it's the reason he's one of the best and highest paid safeties in the NFL. I mean, 684 tackles, 28 interceptions. He's just an absolute ball hawk. And as I stated before, it's a reason why he's one of the highest paid safeties on average. And you have Eric Berry there, Rashad Jones, LaMarcus Joyner, Harrison Smith, and then Earl Thomas. And he wants to keep getting paid because he deserves to be paid. He's a great safety, and in today's NFL, you need to be able to have great safety play and great defensive play to continue to move on in the playoffs. Where's Earl Thomas going to play in 2019? Before I give you my top 5, I want you guys to comment below. Where's Earl Thomas going to play in 2019? If you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, literally anywhere, Thomas, where's ET going in 2019? We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers here at Chat Sports, and if we do, tweet at me at Mitchell Renz 365. I'll do something crazy. So let me know what you guys think. We're currently at 82,804. In order to subscribe, you're going to click the button below, or it's youtube.com/chatsportstv. Where's Earl Thomas going to play? My number 5 team for him, the San Francisco 49ers. Now, how cool would it be to see a Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas reunion? And also, the 49ers need some help in that secondary. They had only 2 interceptions in 2018, and they have $50 million in cap space. And I think the fit makes sense, but personally, I think Antonio Brown's going to be a 49er, and that's going to require a lot of money. And maybe after getting AB, they might not have the amount of money that they need to go out and get Earl Thomas. My number 4 team here, the Oakland Raiders, and they got plenty of money, but they need leadership on the defensive side of the football, and Earl Thomas is going to bring that. And also, Reggie Nelson, going to be a free agent. So if I'm sitting there, I'm John Gruden, I'm Mike Mayock. If I don't like any of the safeties in the draft, if we have enough money, we could look at Earl Thomas, and he could be at least a decent option for the Oakland Raiders, despite them maybe not being in win-now mode. A team that's definitely in win-now mode, the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's why they're on here at number 3. They allowed 273 passing yards per game, which was 31st in the NFL. Eric Berry, sure, is back there, but he also has been banged up, and he has not been healthy whatsoever. They need to add talent to the secondary. And here's the thing. If I'm Earl Thomas, I want to win a Super Bowl. And luckily, BetDSI hooked us up with their odds on who's going to win Super Bowl 54, and the Chiefs are second there at plus 800. Sure, the Rams at plus 750. The Pats are always going to be there. The Saints, the Chargers. But at plus 800 odds, Earl Thomas, you can make a real argument that with Earl Thomas, the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. And in fact, I'm going to ask you the question, are the Chiefs the best team in the NFL with Earl Thomas? So let's say Earl Thomas goes to the Chiefs. Are they going to win the Super Bowl in 2019? I want to know from you. Type Y for yes, type N for no. If you want to know what I think, DM me on Instagram or Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. You can already bet on who's going to win Super Bowl 54 thanks to BetDSI. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code LIVE120 for 120% deposit bonus. Sign up and deposit with MasterCard or Bitcoin, and then just DM us on Twitter at ChatSports, and we're going to hook you up with some money and a free NFL jersey of your choice. And guess what? I got a little bit more for you. Use Bitcoin and get a 150% deposit bonus. You put down $100, you get $150 for free thanks to Chat Sports, thanks to BetDSI, and thanks to Bitcoin. Shout out to BetDSI for hooking us up here, the best promo on the internet. My number 2 team here for Earl Thomas, the Houston Texans. And I think the Texans' top priority is re-signing Jadeveon Clowney, as it should be. But here's the thing. Earl Thomas grew up in Orange, Texas, which is only 2 hours from Houston, and I think he wants to come back to Texas. He wants to come back home, and the Texans have money, but they also need to help build that secondary a little bit. And I think the Tyrann Mathieu experiment worked, but I don't know if it worked as well as what they were hoping for. So I'm just saying, Earl, if he wants to return close to home, he could go to the Texans. But my number 1 team for Earl Thomas, it's the Dallas Cowboys, and I think ultimately he wants to be a Cowboy. And we saw him go after Jason Garrett saying, hey, come get me, come get me. And the Cowboys had only 9 interceptions in 2018, which is 26th in the NFL. And what better way to boost up that number than getting Earl Thomas? And when I look at the Cowboys, I'm looking at them as they think that they're a Super Bowl caliber team. They won the NFC East. And I think when you look and see what they are, they have their linebacker positions down. 2 great young linebackers. Maybe they add Earl Thomas to that defense. I guarantee you that's going to sell a whole bunch of tickets, which guess what? You know Jerry Jones cares about. So where's Earl Thomas going to play in 2019? My top 2 teams were the Cowboys and the Texans. So if you think he's going to be a Cowboy or Texan, type C or T. If you think he's going to go somewhere else, I want you to type O for other. Be an overachiever. If you're going to type O for other, tell me where you think Earl Thomas is going to play in 2019. If you're just joining the show, here are my top 5 destinations for Earl Thomas in 2019. It's the San Francisco 49ers there at 5. It's the Oakland Raiders at 4. It's the Kansas City Chiefs at 3. The Houston Texans, him maybe returning home, at 2. The Dallas Cowboys at number 1. Shout out to everybody watching, and make sure you guys subscribe below to youtube.com/chatsportstv. Make sure you guys come along for the ride all season long, but also we're doing a watch party for the Super Bowl Patriots, Rams. Let us know who's going to win, and make sure you guys subscribe below, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Hope to see you at the watch party.